This is gold.
There's too much laughing going on. Call it out.
Right.
What's the curious business?
You're upside down for some reason.
Other side of the wheel, yeah.
Turn the TV on.
You are actually upside down, I don't know why.
I know you're getting down under for the fight.
Yeah, turn the phone around, Taylor.
You're upside down.
Hold on, Joe.
This is like an astronaut thing, the space station.
Anyways, let me try this, okay?
Start on selfie mode.
No, we'll call you back. We'll call you back. This is Crowder's Wild Gold.
Use up gold.
Oh dear.
Hey!
Hello.
All good?
Right, can you just press the screen just to focus?
Sure, it's not. How's it?
How's that picture for you guys? Is it right?
That's pretty good.
Yeah?
Pretty good or really good?
Not too bad.
I think you should turn your camera off.
I can't turn it. I can, what I'll do. Okay, so guys, what I'm going to do is you're on a big TV screen with all the media here. We've got about 5 or 6 TV cameras here, and it's going to be pretty informal. This is the first time that you guys have spoken since the announcement. Kevin, I'll just leave it to you, and you can just take things from where it is.
Sure thing. Thank you very much, Mr. Stanaway. And good afternoon or good morning to everyone. This is a great occasion. This is a great occasion for Joseph, for his team, for his family, for his supporters, and for all the people of New Zealand. A heavyweight world title fight, who would have thought? It's like the impossible dream. It was the impossible dream many years ago when we got David Tua to the heavyweight title. But for us to have one in New Zealand, who would have thought this was possible? A lot of people have worked really, really hard to make this happen, and nobody's worked harder than Joe, that's for sure. But Duco Events have done an outstanding world-class job, from Dean Lonergan and Dave Higgins to Martin Snedden to the world-class staff that we have in the office that make this machine work. Joe and my journey would have been so much harder without the assistance that we've had from the people in the office. It's made our job a lot easier. This journey for Joe and I started 3.5 years ago. Well, actually a little over 3.5 years ago. The chemistry was there from the beginning, and in the early stages it was obvious that Joe had a lot of talent, and we identified that talent and we set about a plan and a structure to develop this young man and turn him into the finely tuned athlete that he is today. 3.5 years, this is really an incredible story. For us to be now on the brink of fighting for the heavyweight championship of the world is something that I have so much pride for Joe. This has come with a lot of hard work, and we've given this young man a lot of tests in 3.5 years, and he stepped up every single time. What I would like to say is, and this is actually at the TAB, I really hope they've listened to me this time. I remember saying before the Tacken fight, when everyone said, "Oh, this is a foregone conclusion. Joe's just going to walk through this guy and fight for the title." I said it was a 50-50 fight. You saw that fight. It was a life or death fight. Well, let me tell you this. Andy Ruiz is a much bigger, far more dangerous challenge than Carlos Tacken. And it's going to take everything that Joe has learned in the last 3.5 years, every skill that he has developed, and every bit of strength and desire inside his body if we're going to win this fight. This is a very, very big challenge. One thing I can tell you is that somebody's going to make history in this fight. As you know, there's never been a New Zealand heavyweight champion. There's never been a Mexican heavyweight champion. Andy Ruiz campaigns out of California, but he was born in Mexico. In 50 professional fights, both these guys have never known what it's like to experience a loss. Now that is something quite remarkable, considering both of them are very young in their careers. Both of them don't know what it's like to lose. This fight on paper, I believe, is the most exciting, as a coach and as a boxing fan, this is the most exciting fight of Joseph Parker's career. When you look at styles, and styles make fights, it's the famous boxing cliche. The style of this fight on paper is going to be a terrifically exciting fight. In fact, this fight with Andy Ruiz could be the best heavyweight fight in the world this year. Now, when I say that, I don't say it lightly. I've looked, I've watched nearly every fight I possibly can. And I've watched all the heavyweight fights this year, and I believe that Andy Ruiz and Joseph Parker on paper will be the most exciting heavyweight fight of the year. Both these guys are young. Both these guys have very fast hands. Both guys are undefeated. Both guys hit really friggin' hard. And both Andy and Joe like to come forward and be aggressive and throw a lot of punches. This fight is really a boxing fan's fight. This fight has a great, exciting fight written all over it. And I'm excited. But once again, this is a fight that Joe's going to have to dig deeper than he's ever dug before if we're going to be wearing this belt for the heavyweight championship of the world.
Joe, can we ask you, obviously, given Andy Ruiz's strengths and how dangerous he is, how important is it to you that you'll be fighting for this title in front of your friends and family?
Firstly, thank you to those who have made it here, or made it here today. It's when we were deciding where the fight would take place, it was, what Kevin told me in the beginning was just to focus on the training and to get myself in best shape ever. And now that it's locked in, having in Auckland in New Zealand, it's going to be very important for me because we already have everything set up there. When we get back, we know where our gym is, we know where we're staying. I have a lot of support from family and friends. So to have in New Zealand, it's definitely going to give me the extra help that I need. And I will be in great shape. And I'd just like to say thanks to Duke Events and all the sponsors who allowed to make this happen.
What's been, Joe, what's been different about this camp?
I think the difference with this camp is just the focus is on a different level. I think with Kev here by my side, you can say that I'm a lot more focused in any other camps I've been in, and with, we've had a great sparring session today where Kev was quite happy with how I went and how I did today. So I think we've got about just over 2 weeks here, and it's very important for us to make every day count.
I presume you're sparring against guys that mirror Ruiz. You've been fighting and sparring against taller fighters in the recent past. This is quite different.
Yeah, I mean, Kevin and Taylor have looked around for sparring partners who sort of match what Ruiz brings and sort of the size and height. So we have some good sparring partners in camp who are giving us great work in that, who we're all happy with.
Joe, you put out a photo of yourself with Andy on Twitter. You obviously ran into him at the Pacquiao fight. What was the conversation there between the two of you?
Yeah, we went to the Pacquiao fight. Our whole team went, and after the fight, we were standing in line waiting for a taxi. And Taylor spotted Andy, so we went up and said hello. Everything's fine. And Andy to us, he's a nice guy. He's respectful, and we respect him as well. And I said to him that he's going to enjoy New Zealand, and let's have some fun when we're in the ring together.
What were your impressions of him physically?
He's in a lot better shape than he is, or he was for other fights, and you can tell that he's putting in good work with his team, and he seems confident. He was there with his parents and his wife, so I believe we're going to see the best Andy that we've seen, and we're going to see the best Andy come December 10.
Are you doing weight training again in this camp, Joseph, which you did last time, or?
No, we'll mix it up, Kev. Has outlined what training needs to be done, and you can explain a bit more on that.
Yes, we're doing strength and conditioning, obviously. So the strength is something that we're always working on with Joe. I've brought on a very top level strength and conditioning coach that both Joe and myself are very happy with.
When will you guys arrive here?
We leave here the 23rd. We arrive into New Zealand the morning of the 25th.
Joe Ruiz said this morning that he would be willing to die in the ring for this title. Would you guys be able to say the same?
Oh, no, good on it. I'll do. Listen, what I'm happy about is that whenever we leave Vegas, I know that our whole team here is putting in everything we can to get me in the best shape that I can be in. And when I'm in that ring, I'm going to leave everything in the ring. I'm not going to walk away from the ring knowing that I haven't done everything I can to get the victory. And like I said before in many interviews, when we have a great camp, I believe in myself, and put me in front of any heavyweight, I'll beat anyone in the world.
Kevin, do you expect this fight to be decided by knockout either way?
I think this is a very difficult fight, and this fight could easily be a 12-round contest. Both guys throw a lot of punches. It's going to be very important the game plans in this fight, how they're actually followed. And Joe and I have a very good game plan coming into the Andy Ruiz fight. It's just a matter of whether we can execute it, whether Joe's good enough to execute it, or whether Andy lets us execute the game plan that we have in place. But I think it's a difficult fight, and it's a fight that we'll be preparing for 12 very hard, very physical rounds.
Joe, we've seen some of Andy Ruiz's highlights. He seems like a very aggressive fighter. Can you tell us from your point of view perhaps how Andy might differ from any other fight you've had previously?
Well, the difference with Andy and every other fight I fought, Andy, he puts on pressure. He's also a very experienced fighter. He's fights that I had, and the speed that he presents and the speed that he brings is a lot different. He could be the fastest heavyweight I'll be in the ring with.
You sparred against him, Joseph, so that would be quite rare that you're fighting a guy that you've sparred with. How much does that help or let you know how he's going to box?
Well, we sparred in 2013, which was a while ago, at the beginning of my career, and it was quite good to see when we were sparring him. He definitely dominated me in the beginning, the first sparring session. As we went back to the gym and worked on a few things, probably 2 or 3 sessions later, we're actually giving him a bit of trouble. So it just shows that what Kevin's teaching me and what I'm listening to everything he's teaching me, and definitely showed with their sparring sessions. And I think he's also a different fighter from what we experienced in 2013. So what we can do now is just to look at what we can find on YouTube and study his style and what he brings.
How much weight do you think he's lost? In that photo that he had with you, he looked quite lean, or much leaner than...
He's lost 40 pounds. Yeah, 40 pounds. Which is big.
This is the world heavyweight title fight, and he will come to New Zealand in very, very good shape. Teaming up with Adrian Sanchez, who's one of the elite boxing coaches in the world today, a man who has trained many world champions, will definitely be a plus for Andy. So he's doing everything right. He's gone up to Big Bear. He's training at altitude. He's giving himself every opportunity to be the best Andy Ruiz he possibly can be for this fight.
Are you guys able to vote today? Or you're not citizens?
The only one in the family who was able to vote was my daughter Geordie, who's a citizen.
And can you assure your mother in Christchurch that she voted for Clinton rather than Trump?
She did for sure, 100%.
Have you locked the doors in case Trump wins later today?
Oh God. It's going to be interesting.
I'm so excited to see who wins.
You look excited.
I'll tell you one thing I'd just like to say is, like, you know, it's a time like this that, and this is a monumentous occasion, not just for boxing but for sport in New Zealand. You know, like, who would have ever thought that we could deliver a heavyweight title fight to New Zealand? A lot of people thought it was impossible for us to get a mandatory heavyweight fight down there, and we know the expense that Duco went through to bring Takum down there. Well, yes, we know this is 2, if not 3 times more expensive. But, you know, it's times like this that we have to reflect on the great fighters from the South Pacific who have come before Joe, and, you know, those who have paved the way, those who have done the hard work and the hard yards, and you know, those who have tried to be at this position. So, you know, I think it's only fitting that we give respect and notice to them.
So Kevin, apart from the fact it's in New Zealand, how different is it this time round for you compared with 2000?
Well, obviously the most important thing and the most pressing thing for me is that, you know, experience is a great thing, and you know, I've developed my game as a coach a lot since 2000. You know, I like to think that a lot of the things that we could have done better then, we're doing with Joe now, and this is one of the reasons why we've had this, like, an unbelievable rise where we could get into this position in 3.5 years because of the program that we have him on. But, you know, I think that I'm a little bit wiser now, a lot more mature, a little grayer, and for me, I'm going to, you know, like, for me, this is a real privilege for me to be with this young man here. And, you know, and I thank him for everything that he's done. As much as I've done for him, he's done for me. So, you know, this is something that means a lot to me. It also means a lot to me to have my son Taylor with me on this journey, and to have my brother Brian as part of it, and for Joe to have his brother John. You know, those are things that you can't replace. These are things that mean more to us than anything else.
Do you have a sense of unfinished business in that sense, Kevin?
Look, 100%. You know, do you think I've dreamt thousands of times of being in the ring with the heavyweight champion of the world, with the hand being raised and the world heavyweight belt being placed around the waist of the fighter that I'm training? Yes. You know, and I still remember vividly back in June of 2013, after both the fight, sitting down with Dean Lonigan, and I said to him, everything that the showman has shown me in 8 weeks, I honestly believe that if he can listen and learn, that we have a fighter who can take us to the heavyweight championship of the world. And here we are, 3.5 years later. Guess what? We're fighting for the heavyweight championship of the world.
How much? Sorry, Kevin.
You know, it's something that, you know, it gives me great satisfaction.
So 2 more weeks before you fly here. Is that does that involve more sparring? What's the go there? How many rounds in total would you like to do?
You know, over the next, well, until we leave, we've probably got another 50 rounds of sparring to do. And, you know, we've got a lot of work to do in the gym. We're doing a lot of skill work at the moment. We've got to get this on lockdown because, you know, Andy's a very experienced guy. We saw the pressure that Carlos Takum brought to Joe. Well, Andy's going to bring, you know, a lot more pressure than Takum did. So, for us, it was great that Joe was able to experience such a war against Packham, to go into some dark places, because, I expect us to go into dark places in this fight. As well as we're prepared, Andy will be prepared. It's going to come down to who wants it the most and who's prepared to give it the most on the nights. And let me tell you about Joseph Parker. This is not the finished product by any means of the imagination. He has done a tremendous job in the last 3.5 years. We still have a long way to go. There is a lot of development left in Joe. And, did I think we were going to be here after 3.5 years? No. I thought, if anyone would have said to me back in 2013, I would have said, look, this is probably going to be 5 or 6 years. So, what we've been able to achieve as a team and what Joe's been able to execute in the ring is sometimes it just takes my breath away. It's tremendous what he's been able to show us. And
Joe,
I must be great for the people of New Zealand, and we set about on this journey and we took Joe all the way around the country. We could have campaigned him more here in America, but we decided to try and do it from home. And we had an amazing company behind us that gave us all the resources to enable us to each do our jobs. And we set about making Joe not Auckland's fighter, but making him New Zealand's fighter. And that's why we had him fighting in Palmerston North, fighting in Invercargill, fighting in Christchurch. He is New Zealand's boxer, and everyone's come along for this journey. And I believe the people of New Zealand are behind Joe, and they want to see him wear that heavyweight title belt.
Joe, this time round you'll be at home 2 weeks leading into the fight. Are you ready for the interest, the intensity, the possible pressure and distractions of being at home for 2 weeks leading into December 10?
Yeah, I have a great team behind me, so I'll be in New Zealand 2 weeks before the fight, and I'll be ready for whatever's there to welcome me. Be ready for everything that I have to do, and I'm going to keep focused. This is an exciting time. I'm over the moon that the fight's in New Zealand, and I look forward to putting on a good show for all our supporters.
Joe, can you just tell us, much has been made of the home advantage, and you talk about the familiarity of things around you in the lead up to the fight. Can you just tell us a bit about actual fight night? That night of the Tarkin fight, are you feeling that energy off the crowd? Are you aware of what's going on outside the ring while you're focused on guys throwing punches at you?
When I'm in the ring, I can feel the support, and I can feel that everyone wants me to do well. But when you're in the fight, you have to try and shut out everything that's happening outside and focus on firstly the plan that we have in place. Focus on executing the plan, and just focus on the instruction that gives me each round. But I can't sense the support that everyone is giving on fight night.
Joe, you mentioned earlier that you guys have been doing a bit more strength and conditioning and that. What's the gun situation looking like, mate? Can you give us a sneak peek?
What's the gun situation?
Yeah.
Oh, it's currently it's not on.
Come on, man. Don't be shy. I know it's on Sky. We probably do this all the time.
Yeah.
Show us your gun.
When you talked about 2 weeks there before the fight, this is something that we've done now for many fights. Probably our last 3 fights. We were in New Zealand 2 weeks before the fight, and we have a pattern, we have a schedule. We'll be sticking to. Look, we know that this fight is so much bigger, but we'll be keeping everything as relaxed as we have for every other fight. And those of you in the media who spend time with us and who come to the gym and especially on media day, and those who come on other days, you won't see anything different. Okay, we'll be keeping, what we have works for us, and this is how it's going to be. We know once we arrive, we get off the plane, we get back to the hotel, we train. It's something we've always done. The next day is a Saturday, we'll be running in the morning, we'll be in the gym by 11, and then Sundays we'll be at church and having a family day with the family. Then Monday we'll be counting down 2 weeks to the fight. Everything is as per normal.
Hi Kevin, are you excited to be going up against Abel Sanchez?
Well, unfortunately, I don't think I have to fight him.
We'd pay to watch that.
We might verbally spar a little bit.
Thank you, Josh, for your question.
Thanks, Joe.
Josh, unbelievable, buddy. He was a gentleman, somebody who I have a lot of respect for, somebody who I enjoy talking to. You know, I'm not going up against Abel. You know, Abel's fighter's going up against my fighter. You know, Abel's an experienced guy. I don't, you know, for me it doesn't matter who the trainer is. I just have to make sure that Joe was at his best on December 10.
I think we've done enough, eh? I think they want to see your guns, Joe. Can you do that?
Either you're getting bigger or Kevin's shrinking.
Show us the gun show.
Yeah, what about you, Kev? Can you get yours out as well?
Kevin, do you have any guns or are they pistols?
No, they're just
AK-47.
Muskets.
Thank you very much, guys. Really appreciate it, and we don't have to do any more interviews today. Appreciate your time. Go well, Joe, and no doubt we'll do some more media soon. Yeah.
See you all soon.
Thank you.
Thank you.
See you, mate.